Blimey, this place is cold and dark as a bloody morgue. Ha! It is a bloody morgue. Scary, this. Well, I suppose it's the live ones you got to worry about, not the dead ones. Hey, mate, switch on the light, will you? This place gives me the creeps. Lend a hand here. Oh, sorry, Inspector.
Step lively, Constable. Sir George Atkinson will be here any minute.
The head gaffer himself, eh?
Yes.
He's not going to like being called away from his state position. It'd be a big un.
A big one indeed.
There's something horrible about it, though. It seems already permanent, if you get my meaning, sir.
What are you talking about?
Ah, being shot ain't so bad, though I warrant that will hurt like blue blazes tomorrow.
Perhaps.
Hope you're luckier than a mate of mine. He got me on same as you did, gangrene setting. They sawed his arm off.
Really?
Still, I don't suppose you can compare losing your arm with losing your...
Hopkins, do you realize what you've interrupted?
Yes, sir, but it's a shocking business.
I should say it is. One of the grand panjandrums of the Popish Church, shot to death by England's most famous detective. Is Holmes in a cell?
Yes, sir, upstairs.
How did it happen?
Holmes undertook a scientific experiment as part of our investigation into the Tichborne case. To test the effect of a drug, he took it himself.
Damned silly thing to do.
Yet he must have miscalculated. It drove him mad. He took out his revolver and killed the Cardinal.
I gather he also winged you.
It's just a flesh wound, sir.
Well, don't take any chances with it.
That's the same advice as I gave him, sir.
Is it indeed? I can't conceive of how you allowed yourself to be a party to this wretched experiment. Sometimes I think you Eton boys aren't a damn bit brighter than the old lot of detectives, who started out on the pavement with a bullseye lantern in one hand and a truncheon in the other.
I have no excuse, sir.
Well, there's not a judge in England that would hang Sherlock Holmes. But I shouldn't be at all surprised if he weren't sent to Broadmoor.
He'd rather hang than be locked up for life in an asylum for criminal lunatics.
I dare say he would. Is that the Cardinal?
Most of him, sir.
What do you mean, most of him? Good God, he's been beheaded!
This can't be the body from Baker Street.
It's a body from Baker Street, all right enough.
Why in the name of heaven didn't you tell me about this before?
I thought you knew, sir.
You went upstairs immediately after I left with the prisoner?
I was in Mr. Holmes' rooms only 2 minutes after you gave me my orders.
The Cardinal's body oughtn't have been left alone for 2 seconds. Hopkins, do you realize what will happen when the damn papists find out about this? There'll be riots in Dublin.
I'm a damn papist myself, sir.
Oh, sorry about that, old chap. Damn silly thing for me to say. But you know what those Fenians are like? This will be more grist for their mill, another chance for them to stab the Empire in the back. Whoever that is, get rid of them.
Yes, sir.
Hopkins, what in God's name are we going to do about this?
I don't know, sir.
Well, I suggest that you give it some serious thought.
You can't come in here.
But I'm Dr. Watson.
Don't care if you're Dr. Livingston.
It's all right, Constable.
All right.
Sir George?
Dr. Watson.
Doctor, something horrible has happened. To Holmes? No. He's perfectly all right now. Look here.
Now I begin to understand why our ancestors hung witches.
So you believe that Satanists did this?
Well, I'd wager 100 guineas that it was a work of damned devil worshippers, and further atrocities may lie in store. Miss Tichborne has disappeared.
Where?
Within the hour.
But how?
Wait, Hopkins. Oh, what is this?
You found something?
Something very singular indeed. The head was not cut off.
Oh, of course it was, Doctor. You're not making any sense.
No, it was torn, literally torn from the body as if by some superhuman force.
Oh,
Sir George, you must consult Sherlock Holmes.
the doctor's right, sir.
Oh, what would the newspapers say if the head of the CID seeks advice from a prisoner in the Bow Street cells?
Holmes is no ordinary prisoner.
What will the Home Secretary say when the CID fails to track down those responsible for this atrocity?
It can't be done.
What will Lord Salisbury say when word reaches Downing Street that the body of the Prince of the Church has been desecrated by Satanists?
Fetch Holmes.
Yes, sir.
Doctor, you said that Miss Tichborne had disappeared.
Yes, vanished into thin air. I fear that Moriarty may have abducted her.
Holmes has always had a bee in his bonnet about that fellow, and there's never been a shred of evidence to back it up.
Moriarty is the most dangerous man in England.
So Holmes would have us believe. Have you ever so much as known him to steal an apple from a street seller's barrow?
No, sir, but...
I thought not.
He has repeatedly tried to murder Sherlock Holmes.
And you have witnessed these attempts?
No, but I put unquestioning trust of the best and wisest man I have ever known.
Which gives more credit to your friendship, Doctor, than to your intelligence.
I'm inclined to agree with the doctor, Sir George.
Well, more fool you.
My dear fellow!
Ah, my good Watson.
Well, Holmes, we've met under happier circumstances.
Yes. Ah, young Hopkins, how's the arm?
It's just a scratch, sir.
Precisely.
I trust they've been treating you well upstairs?
Yes, I've been amusing myself by arm wrestling with my cellmate, an old acquaintance named Mauser Warwick, who's been incarcerated as a small domestic altercation. He's alleged to have bitten off the end of his nose of his mistress.
Well, it's disgraceful that you should be forced to share a cell with such a blackguard.
Oh, tut, Doctor, the Mauser is an entertaining chap in his own way. It's true he doesn't shine in conversation, but he's adept at arm wrestling and plays the best Jew's harp of any pickpocket in London.
You're a cool one, Mr. Holmes. If I were in your position, I'd be pulling my hair.
I'm a creature of pure logic, Inspector. Emotions of any kind are alien to me.
Well, what does your pure logic make of that?
Dear me.
Dr. Watson believes this to be the work of Satanists.
Very plausible explanation, Doctor.
Or is there any other?
There are at least 6 possible reasons for removing the head of a corpse. 1, it could be used in some satanic ceremony, as Dr. Watson here has suggested. 2, it could contain something of value. I once knew a valet who cut off his master's head to obtain the gold fillings in his teeth. 3, and most common of all, it could be the first act in the complete dismemberment of the body for convenient disposal. Committing murder is child's play compared with getting rid of the corpse. 4th, it could be a way to prevent the victim from being identified. 5th, it could be the work of cannibals.
Not in England.
Oh yes, there was a case in Yorkshire in 1787 when the murderer added onions, potatoes, and carrots to the stew. And if memory serves, a dash of Worcester sauce. 6th, it could be a joke.
Impossible.
Not at all, Sir George. Contrary to popular belief, the average murderer has a very acute sense of humor. I seldom met one who didn't chuckle as he described his crime. You may remember what Mr. Bernard Shaw said of the late lamented Jack the Ripper. He had an excellent sense of fun. Trouble is, he just didn't know when to stop.
I don't see how any of this pertains to the present case, except perhaps for the Satanism.
We have another riddle to unravel as well.
And what is that, Fred?
Miss Tichborne has disappeared.
She left Baker Street with Moriarty in his carriage.
And you call that a disappearance?
Pray, let me continue, please. I hailed a hansom and followed.
Followed? For what reason?
If you knew the truth about Moriarty, you wouldn't have to ask that question. The carriage stopped at last in Spitalfields.
Oh, not even we coppers ought to go there alone at night.
Beside a graveyard.
Itchy Park, we call it.
I leapt from my cab, drew my revolver, ran to Moriarty's carriage and flung open the door. It was empty and the coachman was dead upon his box.
An empty carriage with a dead coachman parked in front of a graveyard. All that picture lacks is Moriarty's signature.
But how could a dead coachman have driven a carriage across London?
It's doubtless that Moriarty so arranged matters that the coachman would live as long as he kept driving and then die the moment he stopped.
But how?
I could give you a round dozen possible ways it could be managed with curare.
Curare?
Yes, that's the poison which South American Indians affix to the tips of their darts.
But what possible reason could Moriarty have for murdering his coachman?
My dear Sir George, Moriarty thinks no more of murder than you think of swallowing a fly. The coachman may have known too much. He may have talked too much. It's quite possible that he simply wasn't a very good coachman.
But what I want to know is this. What happened to Violet?
I don't know. The carriage was never out of my sight.
You see, Doctor, but you do not observe. Was there a four-wheeler in Baker Street when you took up your pursuit?
There are always four-wheelers in Baker Street.
I suggest to you that the moment before Professor Moriarty's coachman whipped up his horses, that one of those four-wheelers stood precisely parallel with his carriage.
By Jove, you're right.
Moriarty and Miss Tichborne merely stepped in one door of the carriage and out the other on the opposite side. They then boarded the four-wheeler for which Moriarty must have hired.
Precisely.
He must have drugged her, otherwise she would have resisted and called for help.
Oh, pshaw, she probably went quite willingly.
Nonsense! If you forgive me saying so, Sir George.
Why is it nonsense, Doctor? Did he have to force her into his carriage in the first place?
No, she left quite willingly. She had no way of knowing the man to be a villain.
Well, nor have I any evidence to suggest that he is a villain.
But why should an innocent man go to such lengths to elude pursuit?
Professor Moriarty and Miss Tichborne may merely have found the good doctor's attentions tiresome.
But the coachman!
Can you swear as a physician that he didn't die of natural causes? Say, an apoplexy?
No.
You searched the carriage, of course?
Of course, but it contained nothing. Except for this. Look here, Holmes. What do you make of it?
It's a religious medal, but unlike any I've ever seen.
It's a trinket dropped by Miss Tichborne. It tells us nothing.
Good Lord, I scarcely think the lady would wear the insignia of the Grand Master of the Order of the Holy Sepulchre, an office traditionally held by the Austro-Hungarian Emperor. Sir George, you must release me immediately.
Have you forgotten that you've been charged with murder?
If I'm not set free at once, Europe may undergo its greatest catastrophe since the 30 Years' War.
I can hardly release a man charged with murder on the basis of his knowledge of Austro-Hungarian heraldry and European history.
If you just explain yourself, Mr. Holmes, I'm sure Sir George would listen to reason.
There isn't time for that. It may already be late, too late, for me to prevent the greatest crime in the 19th century.
Holmes, I'll be frank. We've never been friends. I don't like your methods. You've committed burglaries, you've allowed murderers to walk away scot-free.
Well, you've no proof of that.
No, but you know as well as I do that I've spoken the truth. Holmes has always considered himself to be above the law.
I often think that it's caused more human anguish by enforcing the law than those who might apprehend it have caused by breaking it. But what does this have to do with your refusal to release me?
Everything. I believe in the law. It's all very well for you to talk mysteriously about European catastrophes, but the fact remains that whatever has happened to the coachman and Miss Tichborne, and whoever it was who desecrated the Cardinal, it was you who killed Cardinal Tosca. You were there, Hopkins. You saw it. Can you deny that?
I'm afraid not.
Till now I hadn't realized how confoundedly inconvenient it is to be incarcerated.
I see no point in continuing this conversation. Constable, return the prisoner to his cell.
Yes, sir. Come along, Mr. Holmes. Sorry the rat I am. Rat is me name and rats is me rat.
Hopkins, remove that man.
You'll have to wait outside.
I've work to do here.
Outside!
What will the coroner say if there's rat fights? One is caught. Out!
Hopkins, don't stand there nattering. Throw the dog out.
I know my duty. Rat catcher and ordinary to her majesties. God bless her. Cells in Bow Street. That's who I am.
Ooh, good God.
And that takes in this here mortuary. I've got papers to prove it. They give me as much right to be here as you have.
Constable!
There's one. There, Mr.
Blimey, the quick on this.
Did you ever see the like?
Never in my life.
This is intolerable! Hopkins!
Right, see the size of that one.
Constable, hold the prisoner! Not me, you idiot! Hopkins, get a light!
Yes, sir!
This way, Holmes!
Don't be a fool, Doctor! Holmes, you haven't got a chance!
Holmes, where are you?
Hopkins, where's that light?
Right here, sir!
Get over here! Don't just stand there, man! Get after him!
Yes, sir!
Constable, do those old bastards work?
There, I suppose so, sir.
Well then, try them!
Yes, sir. Catch you, little slimy creature.
I ought to have you arrested for assisting a criminal!
This place would be overrun with rats in no time if it wasn't for old Charlie.
You'd have served your friend better by preventing his escape.
Perhaps.
Search the tunnel!
When I examined your body in Baker Street. There wasn't a sign of life in it.
Among other things, the sachems in the Brazilian jungles taught me the art of temporarily stopping the heart.
But how did you arrange this thing?
Well, you was out for your grub. The old rock catcher walked back to Baker Street.
What was the purpose of this monstrous charade?
We wish to give Moriarty a false sense of security. As far as he knows, one hound is dead, and the other caught in a trap. You'd best keep your eye on that door.
Why? Was Holmes supposed to be in that drawer?
Quite so, old fellow. And confoundedly uncomfortable they are. Although I suppose no one's ever made that complaint before.
Holmes, this is almost unforgivable. You don't trust me with your confidences, even after all the years we've been together. I was led to believe that your madness was real, tricked into thinking that the Cardinal had died at your hands. I suppose that all the time you were laughing at me for being such a fool.
My dear old boy, I should never laugh at you. But among your innumerable talents, guile finds no place. You are the most thoroughly honest man I've ever met. Moriarty would have seen through you like a pane of glass.
Well, you're right as always, Holmes. But what was the purpose of the headless body?
Moriarty's spies are everywhere, even in Scotland Yard.
Where did the poor fellow come from?
From a mud bank under Blackfriars Bridge. He had tied one end of a rope around his neck and the other around a rail, and then jumped. God rest his soul.
I ought to have conjectured as much.
You've done very well, Doctor. You've established that the Emperor Franz Joseph is in England.
Yes, and this goes with it. Was found by one of our agents at Dover, dropped by a masked prisoner. The brave old gentleman has left a trail for us.
A masked prisoner, you say? Surely in these times another disguise would have aroused less suspicion.
Not at all, Doctor. It is common on the continent, and not unusual in England, for the police to force a prisoner whom they escort in to don a mask. You found Moriarty's lair, of course?
Yes, it was where we expected it to be. I also learned that the assassin and torturer, Fu Tang, is expected in London today.
Fu Tang. Our paths have crossed before. Very dangerous gentleman indeed. With his arrival, the games will begin in earnest. An initiation, perhaps. And most certainly a sacrifice.
Whose initiation, pray, and what sacrifice?
The initiation of Miss Violet Tichborne into Moriarty's coven of Satanists.
Good heavens!
And the sacrifice of the Emperor. What could be more pleasing to Satan?
Oh, how can I help prevent these atrocities?
I take it you're not adverse to disturbing the peace, trespassing, and committing public mischief, compounding felony?
Well, not in a just cause.
You will greatly oblige me by purchasing as many fireworks as can be carried conveniently on the underground by the Baker Street irregulars.
Who, pray, are the Baker Street irregulars?
Street urchins, who know London better than any copper and can go anywhere without being noticed. They are my eyes and ears. Tonight's commission should be to their taste. Watson.
Yes, Holmes?
Provide them with giant firecrackers, skyrockets, Roman candles, anything in that line. The noisier the better. And set them off tonight at midnight precisely, the witching hour, in the underground railway system.
Where in the system?
Holden Street Station.
Quickly, they're coming.
What? Are you still here? Get out of my sight, you blackguard! And who in God's name is this?
How dare you talk to me, husband, like that?
Husband, this is too much.
Now, love. The gentleman's just having his little joke.
Hopkins, remove these two.
Yes, sir. All right, you.
Get your hands off of me, husband!
Well,
He's as good a man as any ruddy knob in London, and we got 10 little nippers to prove it.
I tries to do me duty, love.
Oh, that you do.
Hopkins!
It's like the song in Lily Langtry always sings, Ducky.
Which one, love?
It's the same the whole world over. It's the poor against the blind. It's the rich against the greedy.
There's no sign of him, Sir George.
Well, I suppose that you're happy that Holmes has escaped.
Very happy.
Well, I shouldn't be if I were you. He'll be damned lucky if he gets out of this thing alive.
There is no Holderness Street Station. It was blown up by the Fenians.
What's that you say?
When you have eliminated the impossible, what remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth.